Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Major Cotton and today we are going to dive into one of the greatest simulation games that money can buy on the PlayStation 5. And actually it's not even a lot of money. I paid the full price without any discount and that was 30 bucks. And occasionally you will see it for I think 22. So whenever this one is available on a discount, go and get it. And if you like simulation games and maybe have some affinity towards Navy, then don't wait for the discount, get it today. I wanted to do a series, or no, I wanted to do one video about this game and covering one of my missions. But after having something like 4 hours of recorded material, I gave up and said I need to do this differently. So we will be doing a multi-part series that's based on one mission in this game. Bear with me, I think it will be fun for you as well. So jump right into my game save. It's 1939. Around Christmas, if I remember correctly. I have done the tutorial and I've done like, I think it was 2 missions. But the missions in this game are not like in other games where you have a time frame like 1 hour or 2 hours, then the mission is finished. The headquarter will throw new tasks at you while you are out in the ocean. So without any further ado, this is my U-boat. I christened it Erika. It's a beautiful submarine. I already have some custom paint job on it. But that's not the important part. Our crew is currently on vacation because the previous mission was really a tough one. We were out on the sea for I think like 3 weeks and now the boys are enjoying 3 weeks of vacation. But we don't need to wait that long. We can just skip that. Wait for some time to pass. And then we'll get ready for the next one. So there we go. It's the 19th of December 1939. 25 minutes past 8 p.m.
What do you need, officer?
First of all, let's check our supplies. I think I took care of that already. Yes, I have. I'm playing with options that give me a bigger challenge regarding crew management, but not the highest level of realism when it comes to planning torpedo courses and like that. I can do that all fully manual, like I would do in the hardest setting, but I can still delegate basically everything on the sub to my crew. And we'll see about it very soon. First, let me finish this. We've got food, where we are pretty fully stocked. We've got ammo. Our deck gun is fully loaded, 270 kilograms. Our flak as well, another 270k. Here in the storage we got another 40 rounds for the heavy cannon. We've got spare parts, which we will probably need because our sub is most likely going to get damaged on its mission. And without spare parts, you're a dead sub. And we don't like that. Fuel, we are filled up completely. Torpedoes. Oh, no torpedoes. We have already done some research, so we can buy torpedoes with better pistons, the P1 Plus, which is less likely to be a dot. These torpedoes I'm buying here, they're all steam powered, which is why they cost money, but they also have the advantage of a longer range. On the other hand, they have the disadvantage of leaving a trail behind, so they can be spotted eventually by enemy ships on their approach, which makes them less likely to hit again. But yeah, it's a personal preference, not more or less. Just checking the stern torpedo storage. Okay, we didn't use that one. And we still got an empty torpedo tube. Yeah, we can stuff in another one. Could replace the old torpedoes, but I'm kind of too greedy, although I don't have to, or don't need to. Here's our current budget in, I guess it's Reichsmark, so that's 39,085 Reichsmark that we have earned by sinking loads and loads of enemy convoys, or sometimes also just single ships. And let's be honest, I don't sink entire convoys, I pick off certain targets. But when we look here on this overview tab, there's a leaderboard, which is only pictures. This guy is new. Günther Prien. He surpassed me by almost 8,000 tons. Okay, now it's on like Donkey Kong. We gotta beat his record, of course. But before we can do this, take a quick look at our crew. This is me, Adolf Kottan. If you're wondering why Adolf, it's not because of the other famous Adolf, it's because of the fictitious character that my gamertag is based on. You can Google it or search for it on YouTube. Kottan ermittelt. It was a TV series in the 70s and 80s about some police officer's adventure, and it was more of a comedy, but really funny, and I enjoyed it when I was young, and so I chose it as my gamertag later on. Then we've got some random German guys. Horst Weber, who is an engineer officer, Michael Knott as well, Karl-Heinz Schuster, who is operating our radio, Wilhelm Buchsbaum, who is currently sitting in the headquarters because we are doing some research and we need to have an officer for that. Kurt Hoffmann, who is our first officer, along with Ulrich König. They are sharing this duty. And then we have Karl Ahlers, who is also an officer, but who is currently sitting in the dock waiting for us to have some space on our ship, because here on the right side you see our maximum number, so we can actually take one more officer. He's still in the headquarters, but why is he? Does he have to be? I think we've finished our research already. Task completed! Exactly, that's why we got the new torpedoes. Yeah, we've refitted already, or reloaded with the new tech. And for a new operation, we could do that, because we still have 2 reputation points. Let me see. Headquarters. Armored conning towers. Ammunition production 1. Oh wait, T3 torpedoes. Better hydrophone. We need 3 reputation points for that. Because it's before 1941. This game is very, very historically accurate. So inventions are like scheduled at specific dates. If you want to have them earlier, you really have to put in some extra effort. Maybe we've got another thing we can do for less. That costs us 3. Just looking what's over there. We can also buy aerial reconnaissance with our reputation points. Build Helgoland pens? What is this? Helgoland Island is a useful spot for our U-boats to resupply without going all the way to the German mainland, but its proximity to Great Britain makes the stationing U-boats vulnerable to incoming air raids. We could build a bunker that would protect our U-boats from this danger. Requires a leader and 1 reputation point. Yes! We'll do it! For Helgoland! Of course! And Karl Ahlers will help doing it. Excellent, we accepted. Spend another reputation point. So you see already there's a lot of roleplay elements in this game. Also here our crew can be customized and upgraded in skills. So my avatar, Adolf Cotton, this is the standard leader skill that he's got, but he's also got focus skill. The officer tracks enemy ships within the USO, which is that aiming thingy on the tower, and periscopes 25% faster. In addition to that, all observation instruments are additionally stabilized in manual mode. And then he's a supporter. When stress on board rises to 100% for the first time during an assignment, the presence of this officer adds courage to the rest of the crew, and there are no negative effects from it. And besides, I've got a random ability, so I'm also a good cook, which coincides with real life, as people told me. Then we've got a friend Horst Weber. He is an engineer, so he is very good at repairing stuff, but you cannot put him on the periscope, for example. He is a salvager by now, so when he is repairing stuff in the U-boat, he is collecting scrap that you can convert to spare parts in the workshop station on the ship. He's especially skillful as a mechanic, so he is able to recover that scrap. And he speaks Portuguese, because in this game you sometimes have to go aboard other ships and talk to the crew to find out if the ship is a valid target. And speaking languages is helpful for that, as you can imagine. Then this is Michael Knott. He has one skill point remaining that I have not spent yet. So currently he is a salvager, like our other engineer, and he is tough, so he is taking less damage than others are doing. And officers and even your captain, they can die, but they can also be replaced. Then yes, that's what he is, but what he can be is more important currently. He can become a torpedo mechanic, so he's loading torpedoes faster. And this is taking ages. So I opt for this. Did I? No, I made him a ship engineer by mistake. The highlighting in this menu is not fully optimized. But it's also good because he can sink enemy ships that we board by only going to the engine room. So yeah, also good choice. Probably there are no real bad choices here. What about Karl-Heinz Schuster? He is a medic like all radio men actually, but he is a very skilled paramedic already, so he can provide medical help even without having a medical aid kit. And he is also very skilled in propeller recognition when he is on the hydrophone, so he can even crudely estimate speed and type of target using the hydrophone. And in manual mode, an exact angle is displayed for the selected direction. Plus, he is a linguist by default already or by luck, so he can communicate in a lot of languages. Then we've got Wilhelm Buchsbaum, who is not on board currently. He is very thorough, so he's perfect for maintaining torpedoes and making sure that the detonators never fail. And he's got connections, and so he meets all class requirements for the missions at headquarters. Kurt Hoffmann here, on the other hand, he is also, like Major Cotton, a specialist in observing and a Spanish speaker. Not more at the moment. And then we've got Ulrich König, who was a former sailor, but I've promoted him, and he proved to be a very, very skillful boatswain. He helped me sink a couple of destroyers and freighters already, and he's a brave guy for sure. His skills, he's a great gunner, so he is very precise on our 88mm gun. And with something really, really helpful, he is a merchant, so he gets a 25% discount when we are shopping food and items in the harbors. And I love him for that. He must never die, really. And then finally we've got Karl Ahlers. So you see we've got more officers here than we can put on our ship. So we'll take Wilhelm with us as well as an additional engineer. Wrong button. Yeah, that's better. And besides, we've got plenty of sailors here. And so far, they all have their personality hidden. They only reveal their true personality when they are under heavy stress, and it seems like I've been very good at managing the stress levels of my crew, or I've been just lucky, or it's because it's very early in the war, and submarines are still like the kings of the sea because the Brits don't have the fully developed technology yet to fight them, so there are some defense gaps that I can still utilize. So now you know the crew. Let me show you the ship as well. For the purpose, I'm taking possession of Ulrich König, and I'll give you a quick tour. So this is the conning tower, where we've got this targeting site, and I've got my own binoculars that I can use at any time, and go out of the binoculars again. Let's climb down. Currently it's night, which is why red light is active. Red light allows you to see better in the dark because your pupils are not closing down that much. Here's the attack periscope, the torpedo computer, all types of gauges. Let's climb further down. This is another access to the observation periscope. Some repeating gauges. Here's the echo sounder that shows you how much water you have underneath the bow. So we could descend here another 10 meters before we hit the ground. Here's our Christmas tree that I had installed to keep the morale of our troops high. The gyro compass that helps us to navigate on the sea.
It's in my blood.
This information decreases our chance of getting lost by 60%. And trust me guys, you never want to get lost at sea because you might wake up stranded somewhere, which is not really fun. This is the crew bunks, where we can also play cards to increase the morale when it's low. This is the galley, where we are cooking our food. It's really tiny stove, and I watched a video about this Type 7 U-boat, and all the interior is like in the original. This is engine room. Here we've got battery and electric engine, and the stern diesel compressor and the stern torpedo tube, and the electric compressor that we use to fill up our tanks. Weber is dealing with the engines, as you can see. If you want to run fast or turn the periscope faster, the right trigger is the way to go. And this is the bow torpedo tube section. And more crew bunks. There are just half as many bunks as there are people on board because we are sleeping in shifts. Listening room. This is the secret to finding the enemy, but you need to be submerged in order for it to work. Above the sea you cannot use it. Yeah, and that's the navigator station, the map. There is a mode in this game that only allows you to play in first person like I'm now, but I chose to have it a little bit less realistic and more fun actually. But this is the good thing about U-Boat, you can play it really the way you like. If you want to have a hardcore simulation, it can be that hardcore simulation. But if you want to have a fun and arcade U-Boat game, this can be a fun and arcade U-Boat game as well. And I'm looking for the ladder and finally found it, which is wonderful. Because we are going to get our mission. Climb down here. Don't slip and fall off the deck. Oh, I'm not the skipper. When you press R1 and L1, you can switch between your officers. Between the awake officers. I'm currently sleeping, it seems. Now I'm not anymore. But you can also do it from the external view. When you're here, you move the cursor over to our leading officer. You can talk to him like that. Was just playing around.
How may I assist you today, Captain?
So here we've got several options. At the beginning, you are starting your tutorial via this menu. You can give your crew a break, means a vacation, which has 3 different levels, which give you additional bonuses. I took the highest level where they are very close to the Führerbunker, and this is keeping them happy, you know, they're Nazis. Anyway, you can also ask for reputation upgrades. Let's take a look at what you can choose here. I've already chosen some of that. So you start out with only 5 officers, which is kind of tough because people need to sleep and you never have access to all 5 of them, except you give them plenty of coffee. Coffee is a thing in this game, which makes it even more sympathetic. Headquarters influences access to Eagle's Nest. It's the highest level. This will allow us to send the crew on vacation to the Eagle's Nest in between patrols. Holy moly. But for now, we just want the simple, humble order. We have set the game in such a way that we get 3 different missions to choose from. Right now, it's different sectors that we should deprive of enemy ships. This one, yeah, they're all good. They're all good actually, but I think I take that one because it's the closest. And if you want to waste 1 reputation point, you can request a new set. And these here are like, you can consider them bonus missions. So we can go and recover the Enigma, the famous encryption machine. We could go to an enemy harbor and sink the most prestigious battleship that we found there. And you have different kinds of rewards for these missions. Some give you additional skills, other give you additional crew members, stuff like that. So we've selected one. Let's go with it. So now we are fully stocked on our U-boat. Our crew is prepared. Basically, what we need to do now is to plot a course. And I did something stupid in my playthrough, so be warned. If you get the mission to transfer over from Wilhelmshaven, where you actually start the career mode, to Kiel, it may sound interesting, and you might think that you do missions in the Baltic Sea then or whatsoever. But for the beginning of your war, your mission area is always around here. So when you're in Kiel, it looks like this is autosave active. We must have passed half an hour already. When you look here, there is this canal. And you might think you can plot the course through it. But over here, when you direct your attention to this, you will see that the water depth is 0 to 2 meters. And even for our humble little U-boat, this is not enough. You cannot pass through. Forget it. Not going to work. So you have to pass around Denmark. And this takes time, trust me. Anyway, I've messed it up already. So we first gotta plot our course out of the harbor, which we simply do by going with our cursor here and hitting rectangle. Plotting the course out of the harbor always works much better than plotting it back in, where I already collided with harbor walls and stuff, which caused damage and I was not really happy about. And once you've plotted the first point of your course, you can append additional points by holding L2. And again.
Set a course to these coordinates.
No, I want to go the other way. That's too narrow. I don't like narrow.
Set a course to these coordinates.
The AI pathfinding works most of the time, but as mentioned, going back into the harbor, it's sometimes useful to take control of the steering wheel yourself, or should I call it the helm station, as is the correct term. So we'll be plotting a course up here, but more likely than not, as soon as we've left Skagerrak, I'm going to turn on our dive schedule, which is something I'm going to show you very soon. From there on, we'll be occasionally having contacts, which we are probably going to follow, depending on where they're heading and what's the speed and everything. And so this course is probably just preliminary. Anyway, let's get out of the harbor we have time compression down here, as you can see, but you can also control it with your D-pad. So right on the D-pad speeds up time, left on the D-pad slows it down, up on the D-pad zooms in, out, zooms out. Down, zooms out. But we can plot the course, we can accelerate time if you do not start the engine. Oh wait. It seems we still have to finish some loading. Okay, now we're ready to leave. Course is set. Set engine slow ahead. Watch our glorious U-boat leave the harbor. We can also look at it from the outside cam. Accelerate time. Look, we didn't hit anything, that's nice. And you see, it's winter, 22nd of December, 1939. 2 days until Christmas, only our brave crew is departing to defend the homeland, far away from home. And I think, as it's completely impossible to cover our mission in one episode, this is the time where I'm going to say goodbye to you and hoping that I'll see you again in our next episode, which will probably start with our first enemy contact. See you then. Was a pleasure having you with me. Major Cotton, over and out.